RedCard Soccer is one of those games. If you've played it, you certainly won't have forgotten it. Developed by Point of View, whose history also includes Brunswick Pro Bowling, the NFL Blitz series and Ready to Rumble Boxing, and published in early 2002 by Midway Games on the Xbox, GameCube and PS2, RedCard took a different look at football when compared to PES 2 and FIFA 2003, which released in the same year. Point of View decided that rather than trying to create a football sim and take on those two giants, they'd instead have fun with the game and allow you to kick people in the face. Yep. Ironically, they actually created quite a solid football game at the same time. So whilst the emphasis is indeed on kicking the other team to bits, something that's still really fun over a decade later, there were elements here that, borrowed or not, were the kind of thing you might not expect to find in a game that's so arcadey on the surface. For example, the fact that player movement is limited when sprinting, making turning at speed a touch more realistic. Not the kind of thing you'd expect to see in a game where you can also do this. The options are pretty light. There's 12 stadiums to play in initially, each with day, night and dusk options, along with varying weather conditions. A host of teams, including some unlockables, but we'll come back to those. Please make sure you stick around for that, because that should not be missed. The ability to mess around with referee strictness, essential. And interestingly, in kick-off matches you can set the skill level of your assisting AI separately from your opposing AI. For modes, there's Kickoff and Conquest, which is basically like a world tour which allows you to find all of the unlockables. You can edit your team slightly by reassigning their existing attributes to different areas, but don't bother with any of this. Just get on the pitch as quickly as possible. Overall, the presentation is generally really good. Nice pans of the stadium and touches like advertising. That said, this looks a little bit like a march towards some sort of labour camp. The player likenesses are average, and for some reason they're also ridiculously camp. This looks like it's been directly recycled from Ready to Rumble Boxing. Commentary is provided in part by Chris Kamara, who's sometimes just a bit too straight for my liking, certainly for a game already this mental. He could have been allowed to go full cammy, although he does have his moments.
Fierce tackle.
Get up, it's a man's game.
So as a football game, it's actually better than you'd expect considering its different focus. Shooting has a good weight to it and feels awesome, and while shoot was still on the circle button as you'd expect, you could also shoot by flicking the right stick, which actually works really well, feels quite natural. I'm surprised that's not something that's been explored further by other games since. Everything really centres around this power bar. Whilst you can foul away to your heart's content, you'll want to be using the modifiers found on the shoulder button to put some bite into your fouls. Actually, biting is probably one of the only things you can't do. So each time you use a modifier, whether that's a headbutt, which are bastard hard to connect, massive tackle, or to boost one of your shots, like this Matrix-esque effort, it chips away at your bar with different actions taking 1, 2 or even 3 blocks off your 4-block power bar, meaning you can't go fully postal, but to be honest it refills quickly enough that you don't need to hold back too much. The boosted shots are a bit annoying because according to the manual, they're so solid that they'll knock the keeper back into his net, but they don't. Certainly not all the time. You can also use the modifiers for speed burst, which takes up 2 chunks rather than 1 for a headbutt. I'd rather use them on headbutts personally. You're more likely to end up taking a penalty because of a draw than because of a foul. Obviously, referees are pretty lenient, but they are in the game with a fairly funky camera angle. The old save it with your face technique. Classic. Weirdly, this is a yellow card.
He's going into the book for that, but what drifts out of
But this is fine. It feels like there's some rubber banding in there. On the harder difficulties, the AI equalise every time you score, almost immediately without fail, but that makes all the high studs and leg sweeps all the more enjoyable. The keepers are quite well balanced for a game that contains the ability to boost your shot. They're still beatable from range and they're animated really nicely. One reason though to stick through the incredibly tough Conquest mode is for the unlockables. There's teams and stadiums up for grabs, so let's have a look at them. Matadors, check. Samurais, check. SWAT team, check. Apes, check. And dolphins, check. Oh, and Martians too. Yep, obviously missed those. Well, great. But where will we play with these weird teams? The depths of hell? On the front of a waterfall? Wherever you like. These teams are just weird. I mean, the dolphins, look at how they run. Look at how they tackle. It's insane. And the apes. Don't get me started on the apes. Look at his little red bum. It's totally bizarre, but it's still brilliant. If they made another one of these now, I'd have it pre-ordered in a heartbeat. It's really fun, absolutely bizarre, and it doesn't take itself seriously at all. And despite all that, there's still a reasonably good football game in there if you do want to knock it about a bit. What am I saying? Kick him in the face again.
Well-placed pass. Torn away by the defender.